Hi, this is Celeste again, if you can believe it. But this time, instead of just beating the game, it's all 175 of the red berries. Now, you already saw one of the red berries just a moment ago in Being's run, but I get 174 more of them in this run, if you can believe it. So, I think without further ado, as you can see the video bar at the bottom, I had to async this, but in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, yeah, I see. I know it happened. Was it the starting live split at the same time and pressing 1 jumped across? Yeah. It's all good. It happens. Skipped a whole chapter. Anyway, this is the prologue. Uh, we saw it in Beings. There's no berries here, so you just kind of want to jump as, like, do these little mini jumps to move a little bit faster. And then we move into chapter 1, where now we have access to the dash, and now we can do all the cool speedrun tech tricks like wave dashing, extended hypers, and all that. So here's one of the things that's special about this run is there's actually an 8th chapter to this game that comes after the summit. It's called Core, and to get access to that chapter, you have to collect these 4 items called Crystal Hearts. You can get them by either beating the B-sides or collecting them throughout the levels. So throughout 4 of these chapters, I'll be collecting the Crystal Hearts. So right here, I just went back out to the main menu. The reason for that is more of an in-game time thing, because then it warps you right back to the start of the chapter during a time where your clock's not ticking on the in-game timer. So I struggled a little bit there, trying to get this little cool dash under the little traffic light moving block thing. Truth be told, it's just one of those things that I kind of know how to do, but not really. I just hope it works. Anyway, right here, I'm like inputting all these dashes in a certain order. It's like for the puzzle, it depends on like where the color of the birds are and the colors flashing on that screen. I don't remember exactly how it works. All I know is I have the inputs that I need for that crystal heart to appear. I have it written on a piece of paper that is a COVID test that I took in an airport in Paris last year. And I have it taped to my wall along with all the other like input codes I need throughout the game. I collect the crystal hearts throughout the first 4 chapters. a lot of these berries, like as you can see, they're really just like sort of quick and have like pretty common sense solutions to them. It's really just about being able to like platform and do it all really fast. Yeah, no chapter 7 gems. You'll have to ask Vapo for that. So right here, I'm gonna wait outside of the other screen and carry like my momentum from doing an extended hyper dash to launch into the next room. And the reason for that is because you might have noticed that that berry right there had wings. And what happens is those berries fly away if you dash at all. So like the point is to do the whole room without dashing. But I took a little advantage of it, of the speedrun tech, and was able to do it a lot faster than without dashing at all. Yeah, so here I'll just do some neutral jumps to quickly ascent the wall and then get to the top. And that should be 20 berries after at the main menu screen here. Yep. Okay, easy. And the crystal heart. So now into chapter 2, the very, very first thing is going to be collecting the crystal heart. It's like way, way up above. And the way you do this is you're going to take advantage of the fact that every time you load into a new screen, your like dash is instantly replenished. So that's like why I can just sort of like float in space like that, because switching screens is just constantly refilling my stamina so I can just stay in air. And now on to the actual juice of this chapter. First little berry, you get it down here. Took me so long to find that one in a casual playthrough. Again, gonna take advantage of storing momentum from the previous screen to launch across that room and collect that berry. So these little yellow things, you have to collect all 3 of them in like one succession. If you touch the ground at all, they all respawn. And you have to start the whole thing over again. So that one's just about keeping the best path. What is my PB exactly? I need to look real quick. Okay, my PB is a 1:18:34 is the time to beat. So for everybody who bet yes on a Celeste block PB, you're looking for a 1:18 or lower. No, I was very, very generous with the estimate, partially because like all the loading times between the chapters adds quite a bit of real time on, but also I got a lot better at this category. So here's the section where Battlein chases you. Just occasionally you'll take all these little detours to collect the berries. There's one here. Coming up here, I'll do this really cool trick where I'll like sort of like go into the corner to collect the little, like, yeah, the little piece there. You need to open the door and then dash back out super quick and barely avoid getting killed. And then there was an analog stick moment right there. Was pointing it the wrong way, went up, landed on the spike. So we're aiming for 38 berries after this chapter. Currently have 37, and I know where the last one is from here. And this one actually has like a really cool trick with it, because this is like a corner, like little pixel that sticks out that you can land on and jump off of. Because this is another winged berry, so it flies off if you dash. So that's a way to get it with being able to dash into it just in time without having to go through the whole process of the whole room. So that there is 18 berries, and now we are going on to Resort, my least favorite chapter in every category of this run. Hate it, hate it, hate it. This one has a whole lot of berries, and all it does is just makes my least favorite chapter take even longer. Didn't do the extended hyper long enough there. I didn't get my dash stamina, so fell to my death. Oh, thank you for the GLGL cape. So as you can see, a whole lot of like secret little rooms that you otherwise don't go into in a casual playthrough unless you're exploring very, 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 very thoroughly. Thank you for the GL being the GLs even. So there. I need to actually ride this little lift, and I realized that mistake after I was in midair, and I had no real choice but to just fall to my death. I need to go in here and get this berry. Thank you for the GLGL Axington 123. And then here's another room with a berry with wings. This one, you like actually have to sort of do it the intended way, I think, unless there's some advanced speedrun tech that the top runners do that I don't know about. Collect that berry. That room back there is like one of my least favorite in the whole run. Both in all red berries and in any percent. It just feels so awkward. Yeah, I think I just doomed myself by landing where I did because there's the little spot that turned deadly because I touched it. Now I have to do all that again and collect the berry. Oh, yeah, one thing I should probably have said about the berries before 12 minutes into the run is there's a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, the berry collection doesn't count until you come into contact with it, and then you land on the ground for a couple of frames. I don't know exactly how many, but you have to like be on the ground for a couple of frames before it really counts, so I'm still at a point in this category where I just like to play it safe. And every time I collect a berry, I'll just instantly take the little time to stop and collect it. But you'll probably see it once Vapo's running Hundo, where some of the top runners will like have like multiple berries trailing behind them at one time because they're just traveling everywhere so fast. How important of a game is Celeste to you? In terms of speedrunning, it was like very important. It gave me a lot of the skills I needed to have like a better temperament in speedrunning in general. Like all of like my speedrun PBs would not be what they are if I didn't like build that patience from Celeste. Sentimentally, not important at all. Like I was saying in Being's run, I skipped most of the story. It is purely just a fun platforming game to me. So, going through all these rooms, just taking these little brief detours to collect the berries. Right after this little section, we're going to take a detour to collect the crystal heart. There's a nice little hidden berry right here, right under that little waterfall down there, if you can see it. Right there. And then we're gonna hit the button, and then we're gonna go up back through the waterfall and climb back up. And this will have like all the debris that we need moved. And then we'll be able to collect the crystal heart. I know I just like went through this whole little section here, but trying to do it backwards feels like so wrong and difficult. Yeah, here's the crystal heart. Now we have 3 of the 4 we need. So I'm gonna take the key, open the door, and then take this time to just go down and take a detour to get this one little berry. So I believe that last section I just did is called Mess, because you have to clean up all the debris and whatnot. That berry that I got right at the very end there is like one of like the most critical do not forget this berry moments, because if you do, you have to do the entire Mess like sub-chapter again, basically, to get it. And it's like minutes upon minutes of time lost. This berry right here is surprisingly difficult because you have to jump between the 2 dust bunnies. And then you have to jump back down between the dust bunnies and then land back where this moving dust bunny is. Yeah. I hate it still. It is one of the harder berries in my opinion. There's these little two, they're not too bad to get. And then this little section, my timing was off, so I did it very awkwardly. I collect the key and then purposely reset because then I can warp back to the beginning of the room closer to the door. And then just casually stroll through the last room before the final checkpoint of Chapter 3. Here is one of the more annoying berries to get because you have to like time the cycle right so you can jump on the little monster's head and then you can bounce off of it and then you get the stamina back. It's not too bad, but later on in the B-sides and C-sides, as Vapo will show you later, the timing cycles I think are different on when a little monster will like go after you. So like trying to intentionally bounce off of its head is like surprisingly difficult, especially once you're like used to different timing. Right there. I didn't like the sort of way I set myself up and was going through the room, and then I just die at the end anyway. Well, yeah, like I was saying, these rooms, big time loss to die in because there's a lot to do. Yeah, it is so easy to like overthink the bounce when you're trying to do it intentionally. So that's Chapter 3. In-game time, just barely sub 20 minutes. Now on to Golden Ridge, Chapter 4. We have a lot of berries to collect in this one, and a crystal heart as well. So I was talking about how this is a very fun chapter to play. First of all, cool little hidden berry up here. Not sure how it was anticipated to find that. Anyway, this is my favorite of the ILs to do. I have put so many any percent IL hours into this. In terms of all red berries, though, I like it a lot less because it just turns what in any percent is a 3.5 minute chapter for me into like a 10-minute chapter. Cool little jump under the crystal spikes there. So, Chapter 4, like as you can see here, one of the big elements is the wind. So, you have to sort of learn how to work against it, and then later on you'll have to like also learn how to dodge projectiles that are just flying towards you, which again is why it's like my favorite chapter in terms of the speed run. at least in any percent, because it's not as simple as the first two chapters where it's like painful to try to grind down your IL time, as enough like complex elements to make it a little bit more interesting. I got stuck there trying to like do this room fast. I don't know how to explain it properly. So I just kind of bounced between the walls while I waited for the moving platform to come back. So this room has like a lot of detour rooms with berries in them. Yeah, you do indeed actually collect all of the red berries in 100%, and a special extra berry, which I am so excited for Vapo to share farewell with all of you. That will be a lot. That's like something to look out for. That will be the highlight of SHARCOM. Little corner jump off there. Collect that berry. So right here, this, you just stand and crouch on it for, I believe 5 seconds is the time, and then you fall through, and then like it changes the collision of the entire room. I think it's a reference to Super Mario Bros. 3. Anyways, that's the 4th crystal heart that we've collected now, so that will give us access to the core, which is the 8th chapter, as I mentioned. So now we don't have to worry about any of the additional crystal hearts. And now we can just focus on all of the berries. That's another tricky one right there with the wings on the berry, so you can't dash at all, except into it, or else it'll fly away. Messed it up there, but that's a cool little dash off of the pink cloud. You get to just zoom across the room. How long after the dash will the berry fly away? It begins the animation, I think, like instantly, but how long it'll take to fly away, I guess, varies on where it is on the screen. I think Vapo would be better off answering that than me. Like I was saying, I am a terrible Celeste fan. I am also a terrible Celeste speedrun knowledge haver. All of the terminology that I've been using has just been stuff I learned off of Being's run of the terminology that he was using. I don't know what a wave dash is. I don't know the difference between a wave dash and an extended hyper. I know what a neutral jump is, and I know... Yeah, I know what a neutral jump is. That is the one thing I know. If you gave me like a pop quiz about speedrunning terms right now, I would fail it. All I know how to do is input the controls into my controller to go fast. Relatively fast. So this right here is the little final stretch of Chapter 4. The wind is like super heavy, as you can tell, but all the advanced movement techniques help you move through it a little bit faster. But now we also have to like dodge these snowballs, which makes things a little bit trickier. Hidden berry up there. And then we're on the final screen. Wind has shifted direction. And that is Chapter 4. About the half-hour mark. Acceptable. And now we go on to Chapter 5. Now, in Being's Run, you got to see the B-side, because that's what's optimal for the any percent route, but you can't really do that in all red berries because you have to collect all the berries throughout the A side here, so you'll actually get to see me diverge from everything Being did. Yeah, red berries are only in the A sides. If you asked me to collect more of these things in the B sides and the C sides, I would cry. Yeah, after you... I believe it's 100% the game, or maybe collect all the hearts, I forget which. You get access to golden berries, which you can collect by completing after 8p, okay. You get access to the golden berries, and golden berries are awarded for beating a chapter without dying. They are quite difficult to get all of them. That's the true 100%, but for the 100% speedrun, you don't have to get those. So navigating just all these little areas below here. I did the route really weird this time just because like my brain messed up. So I'm gonna go up here and collect this one. There's a little one hidden in the wall there. When I first started running all red berries, that little one hidden behind the wall there, almost every run would forget it. I'm gonna go jump up here. Collect this berry and head back down. Alright, now on to the next little checkpoint in this chapter. More and more berries to collect. Currently at 105. That's more than half. I had to do the math for a second in my head. Wait, yeah, that is more than half. So right here, I'm gonna keep backing out into the other room until I get this right, but I'm wanting to like store the extended hyperdash momentum from the previous room to just launch me across, because it'll get me across the room faster. I think probably ended up being slower because I died a couple of times, if not, like at best, probably evened out. Yeah, this chapter, as you can tell, visually it is like a lot darker than the other ones, and I find it to just be sort of one of the harder ones to navigate in general, and in All Red Berries, like a category I'm not as familiar with, I actually like find it pretty difficult to remember where all the berries are. Like, every run where I forget a berry, it's always in either chapter 5 or Summit. We're gonna go get these two up here. This one's actually like deceptively difficult because it is not as easy as it looks to land between, like in that little safe zone between the red spikes. Right up here, this little berry up top in that hidden room above is also another one where I will just frequently forget it. Trying to set up to do this room right, because again, the little yellow dots, you have to collect all of them in like one session. You can't touch the ground after you've collected one, or else they all reset. Now we can just continue moving forward through the chapter. This room coming up right here with all these little red bubble sections used to give me so much trouble. I don't know what it was about this room, but like specifically like the timing with the moving spinning blades, I just found it so difficult. So now we're gonna do this cool little weird section where you briefly play as a Seeker, I believe the enemy is called. Don't get used to it, it's like 20 seconds long. So now we're going to be moving into the part where the Seekers actually start chasing Madeline, so you have to avoid them. There's only one berry in this section, and it's hidden behind this little red block. Collect it. No berries to worry about until the next section of this chapter. This is honestly one of the harder parts to master in the run. Like some awkward angles you have to take jumps at, in my opinion, but also like really, really fun. And now we have to go up into the next section. This section is very, very dimly lit. I don't know the optimal route to go through here, but all I know is that you need to collect 2 keys, which you can skip the 2 keys, but you still need 1 key for a berry, like one of the hidden berries. So this is just the route that I take to ensure that I don't waste my key on a door that I don't need to use it on, because it's very much possible. The number we want to see at the end of this chapter is 123. That is how many berries we want to collect, while being able to say we have not missed any so far.
Just a reminder, everyone, that we're raising money for charity as part of this SHARCOM, obviously. We're raising money for Save the Children. They do wonderful work for for children in various countries, giving them improved educational outcomes and health outcomes. It involves many natural disasters that occur in other countries. !donate for the donation link.
So at this point, there's only one last berry to collect in this chapter, I believe. Yeah, just one. Messed up a little trick there, or my strat there, where you had to have the seeker hit the red block to open up the little, I guess, key to the door that you need to open to be able to get out of this area. And now here is Theo. You had to carry Theo through all the rooms, as we saw with a similar section in the B-side during Being's run. Your movement is quite restricted, as like once you're carrying Theo. If Theo dies, you die, all that stuff. This section in the A-side is definitely like not as difficult as the B-side. Especially if you don't do any of like the speedrun tricks. There I just very consciously made the poor decision to let the Seeker crush me. That's the last berry in this chapter. We're all caught up on what we need. And now we can just focus on going fast through all these rooms. I cannot believe I did not die there. That looked like the Seeker ran right into me. This room is very irritating because it shoots little waves that send you back, and it can be really tricky to do it fast, especially if you get thrown off once. It's just very, very confusing to recover. Just very quickly checking the book to make sure I have all the berries that I need so far. So, chapter 6 is actually like quite a bit of a detour because it actually contains 0 berries. And I think like the reason for that is like narrative-wise, like I think in terms of the story, this is supposed to be a very emotionally like heavy chapter, so the developers just wanted to take it a little bit easy on you and just have you focus on getting through it instead of trying to find all the collectibles on top of everything. That said, there is still a crystal heart that you can get and a B-side tape, but no berries, so this is what you're seeing right now is essentially what I would do if I was doing an any percent run. Just coming up here, get to do all these cool neutral jumps to get up this wall. And then get to launch myself off of this Kevin block. Messed it up though. So yeah, optimally, the best way to do this actually would be to collect the B-side tape and do the Chapter 6 B-side, but doing the optimal 6B route is very, very, very difficult. But I am assuming in terms of the all red berries route, they swap out one of the other crystal hearts for the crystal heart you get after beating the Chapter 6 B-side. So here you're gonna use the cool feathers, fly around. Have to avoid the little blue, like, bumper pad things, or else they'll launch you into the spikes. Overshot there and died. And then you have to like thread the needle behind, like between all these little shortcuts here. Throughout my entire time running this game, trying to like squeeze between the little pink spikes has always been one of the like parts I've never completely gotten down consistently. I get it most of the time, but I'd say like 1 in every 4 or 5 runs it gets me, and this was one of those runs. Skittles in the chat. Yeah. Speaking of this game's soundtrack, one of my like personal favorite soundtracks, as someone who like really doesn't like video game music that much, Celeste is an exception. So this room is full of, or this like little section, I mean, sorry. You have to have battle and attack you with the lasers and the little, like, spheres. It's really, really difficult to, like, learn the patterns for every room. And, like, right here, I got thrown off because I was meaning to hit battle in before that, but it didn't, and then that just kind of made me more vulnerable because I don't usually have that happen. This is definitely like one of the harder sections to learn for the run because like playing vanilla, this is already like not easy. And then now you have to like throw in all the advanced movement tricks, learn the sort of like timing and all the attacks and whatnot. Doesn't help that like later on everything speeds up with all the moving bricks around the room and whatnot. Yep, right here, change of tone. Now everything's faster. At least like all the moving objects are faster, and you also have to like utilize them as part of the level around you. Yeah, right there. Undershot that. Spikes. And now onto the last room before you officially defeat Battling Good. Yeah, the other annoying part is, you just saw right there, is these screens are pretty long, so every death means quite a bit of time loss, which the more and more optimized you get with the route in this game, the less and less you can avoid those time losses. So now that we've finished off Battlein, we get 2 dashes instead of just the 1. So we'll carry this new power into Chapter 7, the Summit, the second to final chapter in this speedrun. So in stark contrast to Chapter 6, which had literally no berries, this one has a lot because it's a very long chapter. The number you want to see on the screen at the end of this chapter is 170. We want 170 berries. leave us with the 5 berries after that we will collect in core. Now we're on to the throwback of all the mechanics that we were taught in chapter 1. And now we'll just sort of take all the alternate paths we see from the normal any percent route and collect all the berries we find along the way. Take all the cool traffic light rides. Collect every berry in sight. Right here, I'm gonna jump back down and go back out the way I came instead of going up through that top path, because I need to go back and collect this berry right here, another winged one. This one's pretty tough because I want to do like a wall bounce into the berry and then go back, which is, as you can tell, something I struggle with a little bit. That's more like it right there. That berry right there, though, I always forget to go back for it. Like, very, very frequently, I forget to go back for it. It's not like the most devastating time loss in the world, but it's still really annoying to forget a berry. So right here, I didn't land and properly collect the berry, so I ran a little bit of a risk. If I died before I landed there and collected it properly, I would have had to go back for it. Chapter 2 inspired section. I like all the little techniques like right there in that room that's just a really tall little blob in the middle that you can go through. The quickest route up, it's like a lot of fun. Right here, you kind of have to take the angle just right to be able to jump out the other side. I messed it up there. Hopefully I can get it in the second try. All the way to the end here, get the berry in that room, and then go all the way back, and climb up here. Little hidden room to the side here, like that one. Break the little ice block and collect the last berry from that section. As we're just now approaching the 1 hour mark. So this area down here, there's 2 berries. You drop through the floor to find the first one, and then you have to drop through the floor, through the drop-through floor to get the other one. Now this section I've never quite learned how to do optimally. I I just have my own little route for it. I have no idea if it's the same route others take, but I find this room like really, really annoying and difficult because, like that, I'll bump into something or run out of stamina and not be able to collect the little gem to refill it. Oh, I don't even know what that is. Also, obviously for the speed run it would be really slow, but Summit honestly I feel has the most fun Crystal Heart to obtain because you have to collect a little hidden gem in every like little sub checkpoint. Or like in all the checkpoints leading up to the like final climb. It's by far the most clever in my opinion. And I also just like it's a lot of fun trying to explore and find all the hidden gems. Not sure what my plan was there, that's not how I normally do this room. Also not sure why I decided to just reset, because I think I would have been able to diagonally dash to get up to where I needed to go. This room's kind of fun because it kind of takes advantage of the mechanic where the berry will fly up after you dash. So it'll force you to dash and then race to where you need to go to collect the berry before it flies off of the screen. And now on to chapter 4's inspired section. Here is the berry that Being collected in his run, except I think he took less time to get it than I did. So, content we've already seen. And now our favorite projectile snowballs are back. That jump I did right there, I do like consistently, and I don't quite understand how where like I launch, like I'll like dash into it and then bounce off of it really fast, and it's so much fun. It's like so scary because I don't quite understand how to do it consistently, but I somehow do, but it just looks so cool. This room right here is a lot of fun because you just get to ride the moving brick and then launch across the entire room. And then you get to do a little dash up and out. This one you have to ride the elevator. But you have to take a detour to the other side, and you have to move pretty fast to be able to get the berry. This berry right here is in such a weird spot because it's like so out of the way to find the little room that it's hidden in. But anyway, it's this principle again. You can't touch the ground now, or else all the little yellow things will pop back into place. So that's what happened here, so now I have to do this all again. Got it. Gotta skip the cutscene of the strawberry spawning in. And then, you know, just casually dash directly into some spikes. collect the final berry hidden in that little pocket as we fly up with 155 berries into the second to last checkpoint of this chapter. We have this, and then we have the final summit with the 30 individual checkpoints. Gonna go down here, and then you have to take a little bubble to ride up. Collect the berry. Now here's a trick where you go up here, you bounce off of one wall, and then you'll do a little corner bounce off of the other wall with the little blue spike on it, one of the pixels right at the bottom you can bounce off of, and then you can use that to double dash up. Really, really struggled with it in this run for some reason. Usually it doesn't give me this much trouble. So, like I was mentioning before, everything in this game is on a cycle. There's essentially no RNG that I know of throughout the run. Vapo would know better than I do on that, but you're kind of seeing it in this these rooms here where I'm just not as familiar with them because you don't really go here in any percent. And not being familiar with the cycles is really throwing me off compared to other parts of the room that I'm more familiar with. This final little room here has a lot of berries just laying around in all these hidden spots. To hit this button to get access to hit the other button to open the gate for the one berry. Go to the other side and collect the other. 163 berries is what we want to see right now, because there's 7 berries in this final summit section. Taking a quick detour to get all of the available berries. This little section at the end with these 30 checkpoints with flags, once you've kind of established your own route that you take for a lot of it, honestly, it's one of the most fun parts of the run, just kind of run over and over again. here, hidden little berries, reset because I knew I didn't do it right. Just like that, we only need one berry left, and that's, I believe, at checkpoint 4? It's 4 or 3, it's one of the last ones. I just forget the number. So now we can just kind of focus on getting there as fast as possible. Right as I say that, I watch myself just jump directly into his fight. Last berry is over on the left here. You have to like stand on the little stone that collapses and then fall through, thread the needle, grab the feather, and fly back to safety. And now we can just finish this last chapter. And that is Summit. Just over the 1 hour 10-minute mark, hour 14 in real time. Puts you in the epilogue here. I don't think I actually had to go in here. There's the screen you typically get when you finish the game, but we still have work to do. We have 5 more berries to collect in the core. And then we can call it there. So the core is definitely an interesting chapter. It's very gimmicky because the way it works is you just get 2 dashes like flat out. The only way to refill is by hitting the little green diamond brick thingy. So it's not like the rest of the game where you can just recharge instantly by landing on the ground. So you kind of like actually have to be a lot more strategic with how you use your dashes. Here I'll do a cool usage of the neutral jump mechanic, where I'll launch across here and then neutral jump up this wall instead of having to run and refill all the way at the end of the room. Right there with that crystal. So we're looking for 5 berries this chapter. So we want to see a crispy 175 number at the end here. Right, here's the first of the 5 berries. These little, like, blue things, they're like frozen fireballs. But you can bounce off of them. Can't bounce off of the fireballs. Don't try it. Yeah, so like one of like the really cool things about this chapter though is you can see you can flip the switch and it like changes the temperature from hot to cold, and then that also changes the impact of, you know, certain bricks. Like the fireballs will turn to bouncy little blue things like that, and then you warm it up, or like the just like big like stone things become all flimsy and bouncy when it's warm, but all hard and cold if you make the room cold, and you can't like use them to launch yourself across the room. So, skill issue right there because I hit the little bouncy thing at the wrong angle and it shot me down instead of to the side where I needed it to. But that time it works and I get the berry. 2 berries left to go. And then after we collect the 2 berries, we just have to finish the core chapter and then it'll be time. This one's actually really tricky because you have to like get into this room by flipping the switch and then dashing in. So like having to avoid all the fireballs and then having good stuff to be able to get in can be really tough. And now they up the stress by throwing rising lava at us. So the game has decided that if you aren't speedrunning it, now you are. But luckily, the lava doesn't move super fast. I accidentally used both of my dashes way too soon in this room, because normally I want to save one so I can just dash up right here instead of having to do what I did that first time with that really awkward like jump off of the wall. So now the last berry is in this room. You gotta have a little bit of fun launching yourself with these little bricks. That's berry 175. We'll make it official in the next room. There it is. Now we just need to take a moment and finish the chapter, and then it'll be time. So we now switch from like the vertical lava rising to like this weird back and forth thing where depending on like the temperature of the room, it'll decide if like lava or ice is coming from the top or bottom, which can make things a little bit awkward to time, but it's definitely like a fun mechanic the first time you play through this chapter, trying to like figure this out. However, to this day, because of that mechanic with the up and down lava like this, I have not been able to figure out how to consistently do the seaside for this chapter. Here's like the last little room. You have like the rhythm that you get in these sort of rooms. Because this just doesn't have any hidden tape. It's just you finish the chapter with the tape, and now all we have to do is collect one last heart. And then we'll be done. It'll be time as soon as I hit the heart. That is loading in space. And that is time. So, as you know, there is a prediction about Celeste block PB. Now, my time I just got was a 1:18:46. Shoutouts to Tone Dog. My PB before doing this run was a 1:18:34, so it was 12 seconds. But truth be told, like literally 2 hours ago, I decided to do a run while watching everyone else do their marathon runs, and I got a 1:16, so I have a new PB. Anyways, that is Celeste, all red berries. Now Vapo will run 100%. I hope you liked watching all of the berries be collected, because Vapo will collect all of them as well in a much faster manner, and then also collect a cool special one and do all the other cool collectibles in this game. I said it before, but watching Vapo is like watching a TAS. It's wild, the level of gameplay. Alright, take it away, Keith.
Yeah, so that's the end of the second run, as Amber said. Thank you so much, Amber, for coming by, for SHARCOM, and for being part of the Celeste block again today. Reminder, everyone, make sure to go check out Amber herself on Twitch. I believe your Twitch name, is it AMBS, just AMBS? Or have I got that wrong? Oh, yeah, lots of A's. So make sure to go follow Amber if you want to see more of her runs in the future. Reminder, !donate, donating more money towards the charity, Save the Children, doing wonderful work for children all across the world. And next we've got Vapo. As Amber said, we'll be doing 100%. We'll also be changing over hosts at that time to Spruce. So I'll let Ticker clear it out. I believe this will also be Ticker's last restream for this block. So make sure to PogChamp Ticker after the next run too.
Bye.
See ya.